It's Christina here, and we are going to talk about MS and Kesimpta in particular. Have fun! Hi, so it's Christina, and we are going to talk about MS and my new experience with Kesimpta. So a little bit of a background story. I've had MS for 17 years. Yes, a very long time for a girl. I have been on 4 DMTs prior to Kesimpta, so I was on Evanex, Capaxone, and Diacybri. Then I had 2 years of Lemtrada, like 2 courses of Lemtrada, obviously. And a few weeks ago, I started Kesimpta. Why I started Kesimpta? So I had my first course of Lemtrada in 2020 and the next one in 2021. So it's been a few years already, and of course it's time for me to start something else. So, and I talked about it to the doctor, and I was offered a few options. So he basically has said I can have the third course of Lemtrada, or I can choose between Ocrevus or Kesimpta, because he believed that those were the best options for me. However, given that I did experience certain progression on Lemtrada, so I do feel worse than I did in 2021 or even in 2022, he said, yeah, we can do the third course for you, but he believed that choosing between Ocrevus and Kesimpta would be better, and I went for Kesimpta. I can explain my thinking behind it. So what happens on Lemtrada? So both your B cells and T cells get depleted, so basically to zero, right? But then they grow back, both of them, and that's it. And then you have to live somehow with that. What happens in Ocrevus? In my imagination, I'm not a doctor, so your B cells get depleted, so they're here, they're depleted, and by the next round, they grow back, then they get depleted, and then they grow back. However, on Kesimpta, it is more stable. You know, your B cells are always depleted regularly because every month you have an injection, and I'm not new to injections because when I was in Capaxone, I had to inject myself every day for 3 years. So like being injected every 30 days is nothing really compared to that. So that's why I opted for Kesimpta. I do think that now maybe it wasn't the best choice, given that sometimes I have to travel and sometimes my journey can take up to 30 hours and I have no idea how I'm going to keep my Kesimpta syringe that cold, or also the fact that I will have to contact the pharmacy asking if they can give me like 2 syringes or even 3 instead of 5 because I need to travel. So that's all sort of awkward, but I will deal with it when it comes to it and maybe it will come to it very soon. So these are my basic problems with Kesimpta. What else? There is one thing that makes me incredibly sad, like I can even cry thinking about it, is not being free, because Lemtrada gave me this overall freedom. Like I could sense it, I could touch it, because prior to Lemtrada I had MS for over 10 years, and I had always been medicated, so always doctors, prescriptions, injections, infusions. You're always, apart from your symptoms, medications also always remind you that you're not okay, and you just do Lemtrada. Yes, you do blood tests, but it's nothing. I could do this blood test on my way to the restaurant. I don't know, it was very easy peasy, but I didn't have to think about it all. So I only had my symptoms, but now I have my symptoms and medication every month, and talking to the pharmacy. I don't know why I always find it awkward calling them and like, hey, and like, what about my syringe? Like, can I get it delivered? And blah, blah, blah. And also the fact that I can't really choose the time. I can choose the day of delivery, but I cannot choose the time. So I'm given the time in a message like the night before the delivery. So it's sort of not very convenient. So maybe I will talk about it with my doctor when I have my next appointment with him in a few months' time. We will see. I started Kesimpta 3 weeks ago. So now I am on my loading dose. So what I experienced so far. After my first injection, I had severe flu-like symptoms. Well, when I say severe, maybe for somebody who has never injected Avonex every week, they would be severe. However, FNX gave me much worse flu-like symptoms every week. So that was probably like with high temperature, like fever, headaches, like full on feeling terrible. With Kesimpta it was very mild, but maybe I'm not so used to it now as I used to being used to it. So that's why it was not great, but it was extremely tolerable. So nothing really major. After my second injection, really nothing. I just went to bed a little bit earlier, but that's about it. And speaking about going to bed, there is one thing I have started to notice since I started Kesimpta is that I just start feeling sleepy much early in the evening, which was very sad on the day of my birthday, when all I wanted to do is to go to bed at already like 10 o'clock, and it's nothing for me when I'm like in my home country and I have my very active social life. Sometimes I go to bed at 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. I can party and party all this time. So, and I can't sort of get up and like until like 11 or 12. I just need to sleep for 10, 11, 12 hours and I don't feel rested. So suddenly the length of my sleep increased, and it's not great because it makes my day much shorter. So I want to go to bed much earlier, but I need to sleep much more. This is one thing which I noticed. I mean, on the one hand, it is not too bad because I do sometimes experience severe problems with my sleep, and like there were days when I couldn't fall asleep until like 6 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock. Having gone to bed much earlier, like let's say at midnight, I could just stay awake until 8, 7, 8 o'clock. So that's not very nice. Of course, I do take some medication for that, but even with medication, it was still not great. So and now I just fall asleep much faster, but I have to sleep much longer at the same time. So maybe it is due to B cells depletion, because obviously they had a lot of time to grow back after I had my Lemtrada, my last Lemtrada in 2021, and it's already 2025. So it's been 4 years. But I really don't know. I will see how it's going to go further. And I have this idea in my head that maybe when I have my next appointment with the doctor, maybe, just maybe, we'll see how it goes, I will bring up the topic of the third course of Lemtrada, because like sometimes I cry when I think about it, because the MS is not going to leave me. It's going to be with me until the rest of my life. Hope it's not going to be too long. So I'm already extremely tired of it. So having this monthly reminder on top of my symptoms, which are getting worse, is not great. I do think because I have aggressive MS, there is really no medication which can make me be stable. I kept progressing on each medication I used, so even like on Lemtrada, so I don't think that Kesimpta is going to be a miracle drug for me, and suddenly my progression stops and my body will have time to recover some functions. I do hope so, but sometimes like after 17 years with MS, with aggressive MS, you just start to accept certain things. So far, I'm on Kesimpta, wanting to sleep all the time, and the video got interrupted because I ran out of memory as always. So injections are relatively painless. Yes, you can feel the needle, but there is nothing major again compared to Aminoxidil to Capaxone. Sometimes like injecting my arms with Capaxone was a torture, but because you like have to inject it every day, now I think that you don't have to. I think now there is a new form of Capaxone where you inject yourself every other day or something, but you do have to rotate. So that's why my arms were included. However, with Kesimpta, it's not necessary. I can just rotate my thighs, so that's not a big deal. Well, I do have some concerns but we will see how it goes. So I think I will post an update in a few months. So far, yes, I hope my logic behind choosing Kesimpta was right. So to keep my B cells always depleted, unlike with Ocrevus. However, I do think that logistically Ocrevus would be a better choice for me, but we'll see. I think I will talk to my doctor about it in February, or maybe the third course of Lemtrada. But again, I don't think he's going to be happy about me like choosing Kesimpta and then asking to change. And then probably after the third course of Limtrata will ask for something else. So it's all a bit awkward. Well, we'll see how it's gonna go. Do share your experience with Kesimpta because I'm really curious. Also, I think in England, Broomley was registered in January. We'll see. Maybe I will even ask about it. But again, I will do my research. Maybe not, I don't know, the third gossip. But again, maybe I will be more than happy and Kesimpta maybe my mess finally gets stable with no relapses, no progression for a little while. So do share your experiences with Kesimpta. If you have any questions about MS, feel free to ask. After 17 years with it, I'm more or less experienced and how to deal with certain symptoms in an efficient manner. Like, I'm happy that somebody's watching it. Like, yay! Let's learn to live with MS, and yes, like, hugs to everyone and see you soon. Bye bye.